Hey now everyone, it's Steve Severs for Bionic Buzz. We're here at the world famous San Diego Comic Con. It feels so good to be back. Now before we get started, we appreciate your support. Please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and follow us on all social media. Now let's go see who we can talk to. Can we all just tell us names of your characters, a little description about them?
I'm Karen Strassman. I play Auntie Leela, and she is a woman of an older generation, and the rest is going to be a mystery. I won't tell you anymore.
I like
And then the fans will also hear my voice in various other characters throughout the show.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm Alexa, and that's spelled with a capital X for some godforsaken reason. I play Juggernaut. She is much like me in the sense that she's a very fiery personality contained in a small body, because God did not give me height. But I'd say she's very loyal to the one she loves. Like, don't cross her because she will be ride or die. But she's just very fun, very spontaneous. She's probably a fire sign like me, just guessing. She's probably a fire sign.
Oh, you fire sign.
Oh, wonder you
Love
nailed
fire
it.
signs.
Yeah.
Are you Leo?
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
Oh, no, you gotta stay over there on that side of the room.
I'm
You need to
Gemini.
put
I'm
this
much more
in between
air,
us.
so I love being around
But our
fires.
signs are opposites, so they're compatible.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not even. I'm a Virgo, and
Virgo. Oh, you are.
fell in love
Virgo.
doggone Geminis and Sagittarius. So I'm glad I'm married now. But I'm like, good game, girl. They're dangerous. So my character is Dr. Brennan, and I'm John Bentley, and I don't know how to really
The
go
one and
into
only.
any detail with him other than this cat he's a doctor, and he is a genius, and he is deep. You know, if I were to say deep, I would say deeper than the ocean. You know, if I were to say, okay, there's a surface level character, that sometimes we often get to play. Then there's someone, oh, he's deep. And we're like, oh, that's a deep character. This dude is down here. And you get to see it as the storyline goes. He's incredible. His brain is incredible. That's all I'm going to say. He's got a beautiful mind. That's the best way to say it.
And can you tell us maybe something that the fans could be looking forward to, and specifically for the show, maybe something that they can look to coming up for the show, like what would be intriguing to them, or what?
I think the community participation, the fan participation.
Yeah.
Like we were saying before, they can get their pictures in the show and be on a wanted sign. I mean, there's ways that their likeness can show up in a character and maybe get killed. There's ways for them to participate in the dialogue. On the panel today, the whole audience in the panel got to vote on one of the dialogues. So
Wow.
So I think the community participation is going to be a really big deal.
That's key.
Yeah.
That's basically what I was going to touch on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, this project is like something I've never seen or heard of before. So it's really cool to be a part of something so revolutionary.
I think I think the fans will, not only the participation part, but they'll also appreciate the words that Michael and PJ have created, because it's the words. And I'm an English major, and I was just like, oh my gosh, there's so much meat in the script. And I think that where we have short attention spans as fanboys and audience members, I'm a fanboy, and put it out there. This one you go, I'm gonna have to rewind that. I need to hear that again.
Yeah, I think
It's like reading a good book and going, oh, I can come back to this every year, right? It's one of those shows you're like, oh, I need to listen to what's gonna happen. The way they write, it's just intriguing. It draws you in, and then you get to participate. So how awesome is that? I've never worked on a project like this.
I'm really intrigued. What kind of drawing me in is the time period it's in and what the world is like that next. I mean, you guys can elaborate on that. There seems to be less people in the future, and everyone's more plugged into their video games. And just sending drones out to get errands instead of.
I mean, we live in such a technology-forward era at the moment. Like, we have virtual reality. AI is progressing at a scarily fast pace.
Yeah.
And I feel like, with this neural reality concept going on in Ghost of Ruin, it's like, I feel like, even though this is far off in the future and obvious dystopian society, we're not that far from it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
This can be kind of a cautionary tale of sorts, like, hey, technology is good, but dangerous.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's just my opinion, my take.
Yeah, you think about it. DoorDash doesn't have to be delivered by human beings anymore. You know, where my son lives, he's like, yeah, those robots don't mind those. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's a robot going down the street.
Yeah.
They're just delivering food to the neighbors over there. I'm like,
No.
how do they know where to go? And then I'm like, I'm from Chicago. I'm like, man, if my friend Reggie from back in the day saw that thing and he knew what was in it, that's his robot. And whatever food is in there is going to feed his family. It's it's different.
like a
We're
pizza
just
in
it's
there.
like, there's a pizza in there. And Reggie's hungry, right? So what happens? But yes, I'm with you. And I'm a Tron fan too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to play the ball game? I'm always like the future, right? What's
Yeah.
going to happen? My father just passed, and I got him a phone. I'm like, Dad, you got a flip phone. We got to get you something else
Yeah.
so we can send you videos of the kids and everything else. I got him a phone. He's like, oh my gosh, this is great. And he looked at me and said, now son, how do I use this? And I went, oh,
Yeah.
well, you marched with civil rights leaders, and now you're seeing something. This is incredible, right?
Wow.
So that's how I
good to
look
think-
at
I
it.
like to think about that.
So
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in an era where, a boyfriend would call on our rotary phone,
Oh, yeah.
and it would have like a really long curly coil, and I would take it into the hallway and pull the cord into the
Yeah.
closet so I could shut the door in the closet and like talk to my boyfriend on the, but
hold
we
on,
had one phone in the house.
Yeah.
I know. Listen, boy, friends. That's why the court was on. Because everybody was after Karen's costume. Everybody was after her. Tell the truth, Karen.
Yeah.
Tell the
This
truth.
is another world. And I like what you said, Alex, about cautionary tale.
Yeah, big time. It's frightening.
It is.
So Ghost of Ruin, and if I should look at you or the cameras,
It doesn't matter.
Ghost of Ruin is an adult animated series, YA, and we are a bit gritty, a bit dystopian, a lot of action, a lot of character-driven storytelling, and a little bit of horror thrown in for good measure because we like horror. It's fun. The story itself takes place in the near future in San Francisco. It's sort of this tech-driven dystopia, and this Tournament of Ruin is about to debut the brand new, fully immersive technology called neural reality. Now, this is pretty amazing. So 100 of the world's best gamers have sort of come together to compete in an epic battle royale to sort of kick this whole thing off. And Lee, our sort of nobody from the Cubes, has won a ticket to be a part of this amazing once-in-a-lifetime event. And he's so excited, but he's also in way over his head. And so things go wrong. And then, of course, things go even more wrong when the mystery starts to unfold, the fact that there's something else in the game. Something brutal, something murderous, something that's killing people, sort of hunting and killing people one by one. And so it's this mystery that our heroes are going to have to sort of solve in order to survive and not become actual ghosts of ruin themselves.
You're really good at this. Have you done this before?
I've never done this before.
Yeah, such a natural, dude. One day when I grow up, I want to be like you, my friend. One day when you grow up.
Yeah, one day I'll never grow up, luckily.
No, seriously. I mean, growing up is a good segue because it's been crazy. This journey is. I was a YouTuber, had 300 subscribers 2 years ago. It was nuts, and played a lot of video games. And then one day, PewDiePie had one of our videos go viral. 500K subs in a week.
Wow.
Million subs in 6 months.
Whoa.
It was nuts. And then the pandemic hit, and because there was a lot of people working on it, it was very physically exhaustive. Shut down. I wasn't a part of the channel anymore. My best friend and co-creator Ryan wasn't a part of the channel anymore, and all of our hopes and dreams for making this show about a battle, because that's what we were playing. We were playing Fortnite and Apex. We wanted to tell a story, exactly like Mike said, about the future of gaming 20, 30 years from now, and everything fell apart. I was driving for Uber afterwards, and Ryan was working at this mental health hospital, which, he found people with, Ryan was coming home with black eyes. And just because his patients couldn't tell reality from non-reality. And so I was like, dude, what if we lean into that? You've got psychology background and degree. What if the lens we explore this story through is really the PTSD aspects of what does gaming look like in 20, 30 years when you can't distinguish reality from non-reality. And so I think that sort of trauma-informed story makes it a lot richer, right? Because it's just a lot more prescient on some real problems I think we're going to be up against in the future is like, how do we distinguish what was real versus not real when you can't tell the difference from a sensory experience? So I think that's what makes the show really exciting. I'm also really excited about, YouTubers and content creators and just being able to shed light on the video game experience. Because it seems like as gamers, we have so few, sounds dumb as hell, but representation on screen, if you will, of I feel like a lot of times the writers of these video game movies hadn't played games as much, but
Absolutely.
right. And it seems like the game community is always like, oh man, it's going to be another game. And in recent years, I really will say, we've had some incredible IPs, Last of Us and Mario and stuff, been a lot better. So we're shifting towards that, but that's certainly what we always want to do with this is we are YouTubers, we are gamers. And so what we write from is a place of wanting to share that experience with the world. And I think it's a phenomenal story. And it's my first project. So the community aspect to what we're doing is what we're all about too. We want to give a step up, a leg up to creators in our community. We're having them involved on decisions that Mike's making on, do you guys like options A, B, or C with the dialogue, or A, B, and C with character design? Do you want to see yourselves on screen on the show? Do you want to see yourself die on show? So always creating opportunities to really include our community from day one in the process.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Yeah, right?
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
our death drops are some of the best things that people love. I think being a death drop on our show is just great. And I mean and for me, I've worked everywhere for the past 25 years. And it's like I've always been isolated from the fans and the community because, you're working in a studio and you're working on an animated project and the animation doesn't actually launch until like 2 years after you started it, so then it finally goes out, and then finally, maybe after another 6 months, you may talk to someone who's seen it. It's like, so you're so disconnected from the fans. But with this project, we've been kind of connected with the fans from day one. So it's been so exciting to sort of have interactivity and listen to them have discussions on Discord about it, and it's just been a blast.
Yeah.
You guys have amazing voice talent.
Man.
Some of them can't be here. We all know why, but just go over the list if you don't mind.
Wow. No, we are blessed with an amazing cast. We've got Rosario Dawson. She's amazing. Justin Long. He's amazing. Michael Longfellow. He really brought a next level to his character. Coach, you might have talked to Alexa already. Alexa's she's a K-pop star, and she's our juggernaut, which is this kind of very, high energy sort of
Fission
feisty
reactor in a 4'11" body.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then when she auditioned, or when we heard her audition, we were like, "Oh my God,
This is her.
This is her. This is Juggernaut." So she came on board, and we're so blessed to have her. And then, of course, we've got brilliant veteran actors like Karen Straussman and John Bentley and Josh Keaton. And so it's just been, and Keith Silverstein has done voices, and it's just like, it's a great cast.
It's not often, I think, you have animated projects with actually this stacked of a voiceover cast.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of times shows just have voiceover actors,
Right.
and that's amazing. And it's amazing here in the toolbox of voiceover, because I think voiceover actors in some ways, it's almost a different skill set than screen actors because of the range of their voices, the characters they can do. And oh my God,
Yeah.
so, like, Karen is able to do 100 characters on the show, JB
Yeah.
Blanc,
Yeah.
so it's cool to really hear the mix of that. And also just to hear, like Justin Long in recording, like take some of our the character that we thought we knew,
Yeah.
elevated it to a new aspect, new nuance. He's no longer a bad guy now. To me, he's like, I kind of get his viewpoint. Like,
Yeah.
he's really sympathetic now. Yeah.
Which is kind of what we wanted. And then we just, and Justin did all this sort of, he just would take the lines and ad-lib them or sort of the inflection, how he sort of unveiled the character in those lines was just a thrill. It was a great
There's
ride.
so much improv.
Yeah.
So it's amazing as, the writing experience to be able to just kind of have that nugget of an idea. And really, it's been every step of the way, right? Like, I planted the seed for the story and found the investors, and then I handed that off to Mike and our co-creator Ryan, who took the script to the next level, and it was incredible. And then they handed off that to the animation studio, and then they took that out, and then the actors, and like it takes a team, it takes a village, and it also takes a lot of trust. And we have such A players. It's been smooth. It's really been smooth.
Great.
I mean, it's crazy to think you went from 300 subscribers to now this. It's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, no. Well, it was like 300, a million on top of the world. Everything falls apart. I'm about to lose my marriage, and even just a crazy story. Maybe you guys heard in Hall H of like how I met Gala and got the investment. You know, it's just like, I think the problem with Hollywood is that there's no one road to getting anything greenlit. But
As long as you have that Lamborghini on.
You gotta have a Lamborghini.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
need a Lamborghini, you get a phone book.
That's what
boom,
saves everything.
greenlight.
That's all you need.
All you need.
Well, it's inspiring though to hope the other people out there might be like, oh, maybe I
100%.
should give up.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
You should, no, can you go? Because Michael Scott always said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Maybe that's Wayne Gretzky. I think it's just about having this vision for something amazing, and it attracts people to that vision. People aren't interested in something that's like kind of cool. They're interested in something that's like insane, but it's also that it represents who you are. So that's what we always say to people in the community. Tell stories that are you.
Yeah.
Tell your experience, because no one else has that experience. No one else has your voice.
Can I ask you about the setting in San Francisco? Now, I'm a San Franciscan myself, so I was kind of excited to learn.
It's already
about that.
dystopian, right?
That-
We didn't have to do much.
But what was the thought process in choosing that? And will we see familiarity in San Francisco? I mean, obviously, maybe the Golden Gate Bridge. What can we expect?
A little
Maybe
bit of that.
any icons.
I think honestly, because it's set about 40 years from now in the future, and I think our thinking is that we will see some of the old remnants, and I think in our future world, we're imagining it to be somewhat depopulated. We're
Sure.
thinking that there's not going to be all the fantasy literature of like, billions and billions of people are going to flood the earth, and it's going to be too many people. I think, in all honesty, we think it's going to go the other direction, and it's going to be like a population drop,
Yeah.
and that through disease and probably one volcano that goes off, and that's what we're kind of imagining is like the world. Just if one volcano goes off on this crazy planet, even Krakatoa went off in 1806, and it caused like 20 years of winter in other parts of the world, and so it's like all it takes is one, and that's a medium-sized volcano. So if one big volcano goes off, it'll change our atmosphere for a number of years. So we've kind of got this hazy, sort of like bad air kind of world from all
One of the
this.
main characters, Marcus, vapes O2.
Yeah.
It's not nicotine. It's just straight oxygen.
So you just vaping oxygen.
Oh, it's good shit.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
So
It's like a
oxygen,
luxury.
and the plants are having a hard time. So they're like certain plants are hard to grow. So all the old people who are on the street, all have emphysema, and they're all trying to like get oxygen tanks. That's kind of their thing. And then anybody 40 and under is inside, pretty much playing video games. And if they want to go out, they send their drone out to things that they want to go to an event. Everybody has a drone, so they just send their drone, and it goes to the game or it goes to wherever. So
It's a really cool look into the future. I think we didn't want to lean too hard into the ultra cyberpunk thing, just because it's been done so much, and we're not trying to compete with any other cyberpunk adjacent things. But it's the future. It's gaming. It's set in a familiar setting. So it's been awesome, man. It's been awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so.